Hey guys and gals, hey guys and gals, what are you doing today? What is good? Oh, right, I know what you're doing today. You're watching an educational learning video. Man, that's so awesome of you. Man, that is great. It is good to see. It is so good to see people learning and growing. That's awesome. So awesome. I love it. I truly do. Let's go! Quick shout outs. Let's do some quick shouty outies. Recent follows. Am I on the correct document? Let's see. Doing mod stuff quickly. Bear with me, guys and gals. Appreciate you. Let's see. Which one is that one? Is that one this one? I think so. Maybe. I want to shout out a few of you, so I've got your names down. You guys are great. Every single one of you. Beautiful, intelligent peoples. Yes, you are. Don't let anybody tell you that you're not or bring you down or anything, guys. Okay, I support you. I have your back. I have your back. Don't let people tell you that you can't, because Johnny with Whiskey Tango Coding says you can. All right, my cat's in her mood. She needs a boyfriend. I don't know what to do. You guys know any? Do you have any cat boyfriends? My cat needs a boyfriend. It's that time, I guess. Poor cat. She's not an outside cat. She doesn't go outside. We got her Christmas time 2017. And yeah, she's been indoors her whole life. I've taken her outside, but she was terrified. Terrified. She does love chilling at a window, staring at the little squirrels and birds. It's kind of like her television, you know? Cat television. Just looking through the window. Good times. Okay, I found the right document. So now I just have to find... It's crazy how much information I have, guys, in documents. It's insane. I look at the same... I'm using WordPad. What's up? Hold on, guys. Great to have you. Appreciate you watching. Thank you for the views on the last few streams. It's you guys and gals that keep it going. You truly are the ones that do it. So you gotta take credit. Okay. I'm doing this for yous. For you viewers, lurkers and twerkers. Okay, I finally found it. Shout outs. Latest. Again, guys and gals, I'm better at mathematics, and I'm not gonna say I'm pro at coding, but I'm pretty decent, I guess. Knock on wood. I don't want that to kick me in the old caboose. But speaking. Oh, and I can use the proper your and your in sentences. Yes, I can make grammatically correct sentences. And spell. Great at spelling as well. But I'm terrible at typing. I don't know, my left hand types faster than my right hand. It's really weird. So terrible at typing and not the greatest at speaking or reading. I'm usually kind of a quiet, working by myself type individual. Yeah, I could put in a 12-hour day. You leave me alone, I could get a lot of work done, and I do that 7 days a week. Okay, but I'm not literally working 12 hours a day, but I am. But I go and do dishes or cooking. I do have breaks, but I am literally going all day from drinking coffee all the way to nighttime. I love this stuff. I do. I've done so many things. Next thing I'm going to get into is doing OpenGL, because initially I started with C++ coding, which is great. I love it. But I needed a GUI. I'm like, what do I use? Because C++, you got a console pop up. I'll kind of explain this story. Maybe I should before I forget it. Because, I tend to, do that. I'm looking for a GUI interface that I could use doing C++ grinding, because I started with that and I'm like, oh, well, what do I use for a GUI? And then I ended up pretty much learning to do C#, which is fine. Once you learn C++, learning C# is easy peasy, guys. So just so that I could have a GUI, and then I basically, was using Unity software. Software is something I could learn quickly, guys. I'm not one of those guys that needs my handheld. I don't need to go 1-800 dial a cousin and ask my cousin how to do stuff. No, I'm the type of, I'm a doer. I'm a figure it outer myselfer. That's me. I love learning, I love growing, and I'm country. Let's go. So, shouty outies to the latest supporters on the channel, every single one of you beautiful people. I love you. Thank you for that. Nicole Trace, 66. Bart number 1. Jim Jam, 1238. Khazert, Khasert, 20. Gavin, 555. And the recent follow. I love it. The name's great. Kamikaze, ML. Let's go. Thank you for the recent follow. Okay, so yeah, guys, going back, I know I kind of get in a little story mode and just chatting with you guys and gals a little bit. Appreciate you. It's to kind of keep it, a little bit entertaining before we start learning. Learning's fun, guys and gals. Open your minds. It's great. Doing this on the side. You don't need to go to college for this. Mind you, I do have a college degree, but I'm not working in my field. So anyways, I don't want to get into my life story or talk about the things. Okay, that's another video entirely. But I'll tell you, I love mathematics. That was something I just loved. Once it clicked, man, I just jumped in there. Like, I absorbed mathematics like a sponge. Just love numbers. I truly do. Okay, all right, so now I'm back on C++ because while I love C++, originally that's my first language, guys and gals. Okay? And that's the one I wanted to start with. I didn't want to start with some kindergarten, learn how to read words, and I'm kind of going on a tangent, but anyways, I wanted something more challenging, right? For me, if it's not challenging for me, I give up quick. I won't lie. Like, if it's kind of like meh, I can't be bothered with something. Yeah, I have to keep challenged. I really do. That's the type of person I am. If it bores me, then I kind of just move on. Yeah. Eventually I'm like, man, I miss doing C++, because I was doing a lot of C# and Unity stuff for a while, and I'm like, I'm going back to C++, and now I've been doing this for three years or whatever, right? Every day, pretty much, guys. Not capping. It's crazy. I mean, I have taken breaks, but anyways, so now I'm at the point, like, well, I want to get back into helping the others learn the language. Maybe they need it because they need extra help while they're in school. Maybe their professors talking about political things instead of teaching the subject, which is what he should be doing, he or she, in the first place. I was blessed. When I went to college, whoa, crazy thoughts. My instructors taught the subject. Wild sauce. They didn't even go on a tangent or get in, So he or she, professor, instructor, needs to be told, teach the class and shut up. Facts, it's true. Right? Okay, I don't mean to get on a tangent, but like, you're there to learn, right? So maybe you do have a cruddy professor or whatever, and you're resorting to, I don't know, Twitch or YouTube or whatever, which is fine for learning. Helping each other grow. That's how we learn and grow, guys. We help each other. You learn from somebody else, right? Mathematics. I had to learn from somebody else. And because they were great at teaching, it just clicked. I absorbed it like a sponge. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. So anyways, yeah, so C++ needs something. I need a GUI interface is what I want to do, because I have some game ideas, but so I'm gonna have to do some OpenGL stuff here in the near future. That's my story. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you're having an awesome day. I think it's time. It is time, peoples. It is time But let's have some coffee here. Quench that old thirst. Oh, yeah. Now, something I didn't do is check the stream quickly. Give me a sec. Oh, yeah, we're good. Awesome. 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 All right. You guys and gals ready? Let's do some learning. Let's grind some code. It's just typing. Typing's fun, right? Just so you guys know, my degree I ended up majoring in was engineering, design, and drafting, so that's why I say software is easy for me to learn. Again, I used AutoCAD. A lot of them software applications, they're made and built and created, most likely with C++ language. I haven't actually researched that. Which language? What? God. Let's see. AutoCAD's core is built using C++. I thought so, yeah. Though it also incorporates other technologies like AutoLisp, VBA, and the .NET framework. .NET's typically C#. So I guess it just depends on what... I don't know. I've never really built a full-blown software application. I mean, it's teams of people doing this stuff, guys. It takes time, and things take a lot of time. You don't just twinkle your nose and all of a sudden it's like, you don't write one line of code and go, there we go, it's done. No, there's so much involved. I love it though. Okay, C++ is kind of that higher end language. It pretty much talks one-on-one with your processor. So it's pretty much direct. I don't know, trying to make it simplify, how, explain it, I guess. I don't know the best way to explain it. It pretty much just talks, because it's binary language, right? Gets converted. Your code gets converted to binary. Processor does bits and bytes. Yada, yada, yada. So it's direct, right? The other languages are not. They are not. Something virtual machine. I remember kind of when I did IT stuff, you could create a VM and whatever. That was kind of cool. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know any more than that. I just pretty much spend most of my time learning to code and do coding properly and make sure that any program that I create or write, isn't overburdening the memory, if you will. Okay. Let's continue learning, guys and gals, because that's what we're here for. All right. So recap. I don't think I need to. Recaps kind of take time, guys. So slowly I've been kind of transitioning the videos, these live streams, from here to YouTubies, to YouTubes. Just so that I have the VODs, I guess. Are they VODs? Sure. I don't want to lose them. So they're there for future peoples like you. It's great to have you. It truly is. So yeah, just check out the prior videos. kind of catch up. If I start recapping, then it's, we got to kind of keep I call it keeping the train rolling. You know what I mean? So let's do this. Okay, so where were we? We ran this basically hello world. We're learning how to, use standard cout. We're learning where does this all come from? What does this do? What does that do? Hopefully you're caught up and up to par, and I don't have to kind of go over all that again. I will kind of quickly, you need the IO stream, input output stream, your standard library. That gets read first. It actually gets saved into your little source file, which is our main.cpp, right? This is somewhere on your PC or computer, right? That's normal. There's always some file somewhere created. So this gets added, whatever's inside here. We could actually look at the, go to the document. You can kind of look at it. We're not going to get into that. If you want to do that, check it out. That's up to you. You can kind of read the code, try to understand the code, but this is early on, guys. I don't recommend it till you've kind of gotten through, I don't know, OOP or something. Object-oriented programming and such. And once you're through classes, I think you'll have enough coding knowledge and experience to be able to read and try to understand somebody else's code. Because I won't lie, that's high-level coding going on there, right? There's a lot of different nuances and stuff going on in the way they type the script. So let's learn and understand it. Okay, that's what we're here for. Okay, so our main, this is our main. This is where all the magic happens. Okay, everything inside the curly brackets is the body of our main function. And yes, it is a function, but it's a special function. Main is special. I'm going to give it a hug because it really is. It's a beautiful thing. I love the main function. So I got a couple of statements outputting to the screen here. Just quickly built it. Control F5, run it. We got a couple of strings, a series of characters outputting to our console. This is our console, guys and gals. Okay? When we create a new application, we get this console that's part of Visual Studio, that pops up for us. Otherwise, you could kind of do the same thing with your own command prompt, and there's the other one, the PowerShell. You could do that through that as well. You could also go into your file system and double click the executable, but you have to look for wherever you're saving this main file. You got to look for the solution file, okay? Since I'm talking about it, I might as well show you just quickly. I don't want to, I got to show you guys so you have a visual what I'm kind of talking about. We are on brand new here, so I'll bring this over. Okay, so I'm inside our brand new. This is the folder that's created. Okay, and then these subfolders are created with the same name. Obviously, that's the architecture, so that's kind of the file system. We're in debug mode, so all these are actually created. So these are our OBJ files. Remember, we kind of talked briefly. Hopefully, you're following along. We talked about OBJ or object files. There's our main right there. So when we run this, compile it, an OBJ file's created in the background. It's all done for us. There's linker stuff going on, which eventually creates an executable. Okay, so we only have, and there's actually a text document that's built as well. All these other things, I'm not sure what they are, to be honest. It's not really that critical. But this is the SLN file. That's your to run this. Okay, so when I like go open file, I don't know, open. It's gonna do it through this, but here, let me just close it. I'll show you. Close solution. Okay, I'm gonna go open, and then here's the main folder, right? And then that's what you're looking for. You want to open this .sln file. Okay, that's your solution. And I could click it and run it the same way, but it's actually right here. So I just click that. So there you go. Okay. There's our main.cpp as well. Right? That's this right here. Anything that's in here is also stored in there. I don't know how big it is. What's the properties? It's 4 kilobytes. Okay. And as you add to it and add maybe more includes in that, it will grow in size. Okay. What's inside here? That's your executable right there. Right there. That's the icon you're looking for. So you could actually double click that. And it'll actually bring it up through, I don't know, it depends on how your system is set up, right? It'll either open it up in command line. I mean, that's another way of doing it if you want to do all the extra line code typing. I mean, that's kind of, there's nothing wrong with doing it. It's not something I do over here. That's like another video, or maybe you could find somewhere somebody that can show you how to do that, right? So you actually open up your command line. Am I using the right terms? Command prompt. Okay, and then there's the PowerShell as well. Okay, and then you type certain commands, and you can actually run it that way. Okay, so let's just keep it simpler. Let me get this out of the way. So what I mean by that, by simpler, is when we create a brand new one, we're just doing an empty project. Actually, I could type C++ here, right? So that you get a list. Empty project with a console, right? That's keeping it simpler. We'll go here. I'm also do this. There we go. Okay. And then when I run it, Control Shift B builds it. Control F5 runs it. Okay, this is just simpler. Otherwise, I'm trying to not over-explain things. I don't really want to over-explain stuff. But there's a way where you could actually just type in your command prompt or in your PowerShell, whichever one you're using. There's other terminals. You could just type certain specific line code or commands. Kind of like, I don't know if you ever done any Linux stuff. It's kind of similar, right? I would like to say it's a little more advanced. If people are doing it that way, you know, that's kind of like they're pretty intelligent people. I'll just say that much when they're doing that kind of stuff. Myself, I don't know, how do I say it? I know I could do that stuff myself, but I'm just trying to make it easier for me. I don't know. And plus for you guys too, learning, right? Let's just keep it simple. KISS method. Keep it simple, Stanley. All right. I need some coffee. anyways, so yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing, right? All right. I just kick myself in the head. It's like, man, I go on a tangent sometimes. All right, let's get back on track. Okay, so, and then of course we have our definitions, which we haven't really done any functions yet. We will get there, so don't worry about it too much, guys and gals. Okay. I want to kind of get rid of some of this extra stuff and just kind of put it down here. For now, just some notes, just to clean things up. Same thing with here. Remember all this stuff, guys and gals, okay? Okay, a program is executed line by line, right? Everything happens in the main, remember that. I mean, yes, the program goes through all this. We're not using the namespace. The program goes through this, right? It realizes, okay, this is included, right? It needs this. You need this to be able to type this, okay? Without it, they're standards, right? The reason standards are created so that there are no conflictions in methods that are being created, okay? Essentially, right? We don't want any... I'm just going to say you don't want any conflictions, right? Two methods or two functions could have the same name. The standard separates that. Okay, let's say somebody created a cout method. Okay, the program software needs to know which one to execute. Okay, this is kind of like being explicit, right? It's a prefix. Okay, we're being explicit as to which cout we're wanting to use. Okay, in a nutshell. I know I'm not the best at explaining stuff, but I try. Okay, and then it outputs this line, right? This is just telling the console to output this string of characters, and these are double enters. That's all it is. This is just some extra information. Again, you can type yourself notes. I can type myself notes here. Okay? Again, if you're doing this at home yourself, there's nothing wrong with doing this. Okay? You could have 10,000 lines of notes. It's your program. Nobody can tell you what to do or how to type your own program, right? It's yours. Okay, but if you're working for a company, right, they have kind of industry standards as well, guidelines you have to follow. I don't recommend you type 10,000 notes, okay? I'm just helping you out here, okay? When any notes that are created, like let's say a method is created, the notes have to kind of reflect what does that method do, and it's kind of like simplistic. It's just a little statement saying, this is what this method does, and that's it. Or you could have to-do notes, just reminders to, to complete something, right? You can do that kind of stuff as well. Now, if you're learning and such, you could type notes, kind of like I'm doing here. This is for you guys and gals, okay? All right, that's in regards to comments. So you have two types of comments. You have the double /, and you have, all you have to do is a single /, hit shift 8, and then you get this multi-line. So this is a multi-line, and this is basically a single line. Okay, makes sense? That's the only difference. If I could type single. Okay. Single line comments and multi-line comments. All right. That's all that is. Okay. All right, I'll leave that there for now. Okay, so and then again, the console is going to output this line. You can see it right here, right? There's a space in between. I gave it a double enter. One is just to bring it down one. It should be a double enter, actually. One enter, two enters. Yes, it is. Okay, this one gives that extra space in between the two lines. Okay, another way I could do it is I could go like this. I could get rid of this one here, so I have a single enter, and then put one in front. It has to be inside the quotations. You could use these escape characters in your quotations. They won't be printed to the screen or to the console. Okay, let me build it. Control-Shift-B, Control-F5, boom. See? It doesn't print out the \n. The backslash is kind of like an ignore thing. And you can see the color of it. Again, I have a theme I created with my Visual Studio. I have my own personal theme set up. And so yours is going to be different, just to let you know if you're using Visual Studio. Whatever other IDE you're using, I don't know. So it's going to be entirely different. But bottom line, it all does the same thing. It's just the layout is different. That's all. Okay. So, and then I have another double enter. Again, double enters have to be in double quotes. Okay. And you can also have a single enter. I don't want to get into talking about these too much more. So let's get the escape characters and the new lines done and out of the way. Okay. So again, yes, there's two characters there, but the backslash, I think, is kind of not counted as a character. I don't know how that works under the hood. But you can actually go with singular quotes if you're just using one singular enter. But with two double enters or with a double enter, you have to use double quotes because you have two characters, right? Single quotes are single characters. Double quotes are, well, a series of characters, right? So more than one. Okay? Alright, I know I've kind of explained that, but I just kind of wanted to kind of recap. So let's continue. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to get rid of this. And we're going to start. I know I talked a little bit about, hopefully you've been following along. We talked about data types and such a little bit. If you don't know what data types are yet, I recommend you go back to the prior video, okay, please? That'd be great. It's great to have you. You're awesome, by the way. All right, and then I'll see you back here when you get to this point again. It's going to be awesome to have you back. Oh, welcome back. Let's go. You're back. That's so awesome. Okay, here we go. So, standard, console out, character out, however you want to look at it. This is the direction. The direction is saying go out to the console. Think of it like a Pac-Man mouth yelling at you. That's the direction. We want it to go out. So we're going out. Pac-Man's yelling out. If you need to know which direction, because when we start getting user to enter information, the direction's changed. It's the opposite. Okay, we'll get there. All right, so we're going to type in here is, I don't know, 8. Okay, and then I'm going to type up some more. Quickly, we'll go over the terminology, just quickly. Clicked the wrong one here. Just so that I have the terminology proper for you guys and gals. Again, I know what they do, It doesn't hurt to understand the name or the theory or whatever it's called, specific things that when you type code. It doesn't hurt to have that knowledge, is my point. Where is that again? What? Okay, I finally found it. I also found the other information from the last video, so I'm going to try to talk about that as well quickly. Okay, so the standard, the STD, is obviously short for standard. Okay, that's called aka the write operator. So standard C out is the write operator. Okay, C in C out stands for character out. Okay, out is obviously output. All right, and then we have the these two less than signs. They're called the stream insertion operator. They're inserting. So right after that, you can either output a variable or a number or a series of characters. Okay? Take note that each one of these characters is kind of in memory, all right? Each character that you type, it's a char, right? And a string is a series of chars. So we have a series of chars, right? You can see char here. Okay? They have a position in space in the memory of your system, okay? Just as a heads up. We'll talk about that a little more. That's why I like to call this a string, a series of chars, or a series of characters. Okay? And even white space, if you want to call it white space or blank space, it also has space on your in memory. So it actually has a value in the system. So a space actually has a value, okay? And it will also be outputted to your console. Okay? All right. So with that said, we can actually type a value in here instead. So I'm going to delete that. So you can actually type a value, and then we're going to put a singular. It's up to you how you want to do your new lines. You guys, it's your code. You can type however you want, okay? It's up to you. So there's two ways of doing this. You can go standard end line. Okay, that'll give you your enter. Or you can go singular enter. Oh, I knew it was going to do that. I thought I deleted that. Dun, 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 dun. And there. So a singular enter. Or you can go... Oh, I messed it up. Double enter. Okay? It's up to you. Depends on what is happening in your statement. Each line is a statement. Okay? So they all do the same thing. This is a single enter or a single new line. This is a single new line. And like I already explained, this is a double new line. Okay? However you want to end your lines is up to you. Your choice. Okay? It's nothing really secretive or top secret. Okay? So what's this line going to do? Right? If you've been following and watching along so far, you'll know, this is going to be a series of characters outputted to our console, just like this as well, right? You've already seen me output this line, right? It's going to do the same thing. What about this number here? What's going to happen here? Well, let's find out. Just building it. Control F5, run. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? So it actually even outputs that 8. That's actually a number, an integer value. So this is a series of characters, so text that we've printed out, just like this. This is a series of characters or a series of text. All of this here is a series of text. Even the space is a character, right? Okay, just keep that in mind. Just take note. Even the space is a character. And then we have the actual number, which we put in right here. That's actually an integer value. Okay, so you understand the difference, right? This is just text, and this is an actual number, right? And then I added this space just so that if I didn't, look what will happen if I get rid of that space. Here's proof showing to you guys and gals that the space is actually a character as well. Control Shift B, Control F5, boom. You see that? There is no more space. So that's why you have spaces added in your string literals. Okay, that's another term you'll hear. I'll probably say it more. It's all the same, guys and gals, right? Series of characters, series of text, string literal would be another thing to call it. So we put our space in our string literal. And that's what this is, a string literal. Okay? And I could just hit Control F5. It'll build on its own as well, guys. So myself, I just have the habit of doing that. Give me a sec here. All right. Thank you for being here in chat. Lurkers and twerkers, you're awesome. You really are. Let's go. I'll just kind of, let's see here. Let's keep chat kind of flowing here a little bit. Some positive quotes in chat. Let's see what else. Just some humor for you guys and gals. And what else can we do here? Let's do that. I'll try to finish up here quickly. I'm my own mod, guys, so let's go. Quick thank you, and we're gonna keep going here. All right. Coolio, it's great to have you guys, truly is. You beautiful, intelligent, 120 IQ people. You guys are awesome. All right. Okay. So, let's see. Here's a term. I don't know. I don't usually use it much, but here's a term that's usually said. Manipulator, STD. I don't know, I guess it's called a manipulator. And then boom. You don't have to finish your lines with an enter as well, guys and gals. Okay. Control F5, it'll build. There's no space, right? I do have, you can see where the cursor is. That's happening because I have this double enter here. Okay. Whoops. That's why I noticed that the cursor was flashing kind of to the right a little bit in the console. And it was doing that because it actually counted that space. So, there we go. Fixed. Okay. So, apparently the standard end line is called the manipulator. I know I kind of explained all this, but we'll just go over it. Repetition doesn't hurt. I'm just gonna type it. Okay, and a decimal, a period. Always end your statements with a semicolon. You must do that with C++ and C#. And then here's another way of typing an enter. I guess I should have mentioned that as well. You could do this as well. This is a legal statement. Okay? This is in fact a legal statement. Okay, let me build. And then we'll run it. You got to do all this. You got to recompile it. Essentially, we're recompiling. Okay? So there's no enter, right? So you can see what happens there. That's the difference. Okay? So, I'm just going to scroll that up here. Just so you can see. Okay? Now I'm deliberately creating space between all these lines. This is all ignored. This is just ignored white space. The compiler doesn't output space because you've put space here in the int main, okay? It's ignored. Essentially, it's nothing, okay? So you have, in order to create enters, that's why I've been talking about the new lines a lot, okay guys? So notice that difference. This is just more for human readability, okay? I could go like this and do the same thing, right? I created a space just for us, you viewers, just for readability. Okay, and I could go Control Z to undo that quickly as well. All right, so the new lines create the enters. As you can see, there was no new line here at the end. So take note of that if you don't have one. The next line actually gets outputted immediately on the same line. You can see that, right? Okay, so take note. And it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to have a new line on everything, right? So you can manipulate or type your code in such a way just for your own human readability, right? And plus, let's say somebody else is going to read your code. You know, it's kind of like having good penmanship, if you will. All right, so, but you could do this. You could type your code like this. You could just decide not to have a new line. You're going to know in your mind that this line is immediately going to be printed out in the console exactly in line with this statement above. Okay? And then, of course, we have another new line, which is just another... we have a standard end line, which is just another new line. Okay? Another enter. So I have two new lines, and then this is actually creating an additional one. So you can see my my cursor, I guess, is that what it's called? Cursor flashing. So there. So be aware of that. Also, you can see that I have this space right there, which is creating that space right here. So if I got rid of this, let me close this. If I get rid of this space, and run it, now I have, I'll just go like this. Now I have no space here, right? So you actually have to add the space. The space does get outputted to the console. Take note, when we talk about ASCII, ASCII has a when we talk about the ASCII table and get to that, the space has a value, okay? It actually has a value. You'll see, okay? Stay tuned. So the space matters. All right. That's how you get your white space in your code. So I could actually do that. I could put the white space here instead of here. So check it out. Now I'll get that space. Okay? So it doesn't matter if you put it here or if you put it here. It's all the same. Let's drop the yays just for funsies. I took advantage of having some coffee there as well. Okay. So I got a lot more to type out. So I'm just going to go like this. And then we're going to just print out some more, a string of characters, some actual integer numbers. Right? So be aware. You can see it has a different color value, if you will. So when I type the number 8 there, that's an actual integer value being printed. Okay? In the background, when it compiles, it probably converts it to, maybe it turns it to, it does the ASCII thing. That's what it does. And it still prints out that value. Okay, so take note. 1 is a series of characters. That 8 is that's an actual character. This is an actual integer value. That's the difference. Okay, we're going to be doing a lot of standard couts, so I'm just going to kind of copy one. And we're going to continue doing some more. So another string literal, double quotes, whenever you want to speak. It's just like, you're writing, let's say you're writing a novel or whatever you're doing. That's great that you could do that, by the way. Whenever you're quoting somebody, you do the quotes, right? So here is a very big number. And I'm going to show you another new escape operator. Okay. I got to bring up the right document. I'm bouncing between WordPad and Notepad. I'm on Windows 11 and I still have WordPad, guys. If you want to know how to save WordPad, you're gonna have to ask me. After a certain, I'm on Windows. I start my system. I built it and designed it myself. I part by part purchased it, slowly got all the parts and built it and that. And I was originally on Windows 10. And then with of course, Microsoft's like, you got to use our Windows 11. You must. I resisted for the longest time. I'm like, but I like Windows 10. There's nothing wrong with 10. 10's great. Eventually, I conceded, and it had to do with the coding, because I was trying to create programs for Windows 11 architecture, or whatever, if you will. Operating system. So I ended up conceding, and that's the only reason I installed the Windows 11 is because I was doing Visual Studio stuff. So eventually one of their updates actually removes the WordPad, like, permanently. And WordPad's been around for a long time. And I think they're doing that because, you know, they're greedy and they're already billionaires and they don't know what it's like to just live off bologna and wiener sandwiches anymore. But yet they still need more money. So, Lil, hang on, guys. Skitty scattle. Dang cat. Sorry, guys. I had to make her vacate the room. In a nice way, okay? I was nice. I'm good to my cat, guys. She's living the dream, a good life. Okay. So anyways, yeah, they're greedy, and I think that's what I'm thinking is because they want to make money with their because of course they have Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel and that. Excel I can see buying. That's a good useful program. But it's not like I'm writing resumes every day. I don't need to do all fancy letters and stuff. WordPad is fine for what I'm doing. Notepad, if you want to save and back up your code, I recommend you use Notepad. Okay, let's continue. Little aside story for you guys and gals. So here we go. We have another new escape. What the? How did I end up all the way up there? Okay, hang on. Oh, God, I clicked it and then it just jumped to another area here. Okay, here we go. Special. Okay. Printing characters. So we've been using the /n, which is the new line. And now we're using this new one, which is called /t, and it's a tab. So of course you know what a tab is on your keyboard. So there you go. If you want a tab, that's how you do this. Here we go. Okay. So I wanted to show you before I typed it. Here is a very big number, colon, and we don't need a space because we know we're tabbing. Okay? Right? I don't know how many spaces is a tab. It's a few. So I'm just going to write a number. Okay? It's a very big number. I wish, one day it would be great to have my bank account with that much. I'm not even greedy. I'd be happy with that. I live simple life. I'm not greedy. Okay. Just gonna do that. This is actually probably just as easy to go like this. I knew I was gonna do that. So if you have, let me just undo that. So you can actually do this, okay? So I'm going to get rid of that. If you actually highlight that and then hit your double quotes, what the did I just do? I duplicated? No. Shot. What? Okay, hang on. Okay, sorry. No, I didn't duplicate. I wonder if that has to be there. Let me just see. Shift. There we go. Okay, I was holding control. That was my bad. I ended up jumping right to the Solution Explorer. Crazy. So again, Control Z. So I'm gonna get rid of that. If you want to actually put something in quotations quickly, you just highlight it, hit your Shift quotations, and boom, it'll do that for you automatically. Okay, which is kind of nice. So another set of quotations. Here is the sum. We're just doing some. You would not normally write code like this, guys, doing a bunch of standard couts. But this is just part of the learning. You know, we're learning how to just write code, write lines of code or statements. That's all we're doing here, right? So, I don't know, I'm going to go 9. And remember, we're still typing string literals, okay? If I say string literals, all I mean is a series of characters, okay? Or a series of chars. Okay, we're going to talk about that in the future here. Standard strings, and whoops, and we're going to talk about chars. Okay? Now I wonder if I need to include strings. I'm going to make sure I have my act together when we're talking about strings. Strings are really, I don't want to get into too much information. It has its own include. Now it's not showing up here. I don't know why. Probably because of this here. I got to end that with a semicolon. What is up? Let's type that again. There's something weird going on here. String. There we go. Now it's working. It wasn't changing its color, so I'm like, what is it doing? Okay, standard string kind of has its own. We'll just get into that another time. Okay, yeah. Don't worry. It's not that big of a deal. It's more of a theory thing. I just want to make sure I have the theory kind of in my brain here before I explain it, right? I don't want to steer you wrong, okay? So, but a string is a series of characters, okay? Or a series of chars. A char is just a single character, okay? And again, take note, chars are single quotes. Okay? All I've done here is declared a char data type, and I made it equal to this character. Again, this character has a value, okay? ASCII table stuff. And so right-hand side, so basically the theory or the logic behind it is left-hand side equals right-hand side. So whatever is on the right-hand side, I need actual a variable. I forgot the variable, right? Whatever's on the right-hand side gets stored into the left-hand side. Okay, that's why you'll hear me say left-hand side equals right-hand side. You might as well learn this now, because as you get more advanced, you'll even hear this kind of lingo or coding talk with the experienced developers, okay? And you'll see this kind of in code as well. All right? Anyways, so whatever's on the right-hand side gets stored to the left-hand side. This letter actually is storing and holding the value in memory, okay? Just to kind of keep it simple. That's the gist of it, all right? We will talk about it more, all right? I need to type a little bit quicker. Where are we here? I'm going to go like this, because I want to just delete that, and just to make the typing quicker. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that 9 and 5 and not put it in quotes, but we're just going to actually just do the addition right here. So I'm using a plus sign, right? I don't have to explain that. I know you guys are all beautiful, intelligent people. You know what a plus sign is. So we're actually doing the arithmetic right there in our statement. And then we'll end with an end line. There. Okay, so you can do this. It's a legal statement. It's not normally the way we would write stuff, but you might as well, we're here learning, right, guys? That's what we're doing. Okay. What's going on here? Here's a fraction, colon, with a double tab. And let's just build this. Actually, I haven't, let's just finish. Oh, yeah, okay. So right here is something what you'll hear these terms as well, okay? Get used to it. It's just part of the coding language, right? Coders have their own lingo, okay? So you have to understand the lingo. This lingo is called being explicit. So what I'm doing here with parentheses, you'll see them used with functions. You'll see them used in other ways as well, okay? So this is the thing about coding. When you kind of get familiar with how line statements are written, you'll understand what certain things are doing at that moment in your line of code. So in this case, we're just using it as in an explicit fashion. So right here, we're telling whatever we write next, we're telling the compiler this is a float. Okay, so we're actually doing the mathematics or arithmetic calculation here. It's no different than going 9 plus 5. The forward slash is our divide, okay? Forward slash. And we're going to talk about arithmetic operators and such in the future, but you might as well know about it now. Okay, forward slash is our divide when you're line coding, okay? And I'm gonna go like this just to comment it out, because that's why we type comments, because the program's like going, what are you doing, Bob? What are you typing? So the reason I didn't have it so that you could see the color of it. So that's division, all right? So I'm explicitly telling the compiler, hey, do this division here. I want you to return it as a float value. Okay, we talked about data types a little bit. Again, we'll talk about them more in the future. A lot of it depends on, interest and viewability as well, guys. Okay, that kind of helps. So remember, sharing is caring. Also, it's great to have you here learning and growing. I hope I'm helping and trying to, keep it simple. Keep it simple, Stanley. That's what I'm trying to do over here. All right? We're explaining it line by line as well. All right, so whenever you see this, just know that when we type it exactly like this, we're just being explicit to the compiler and saying, hey, compiler, I want you to convert this calculation into a float value. All right, that's all we did there. That is all we are doing. Control-Shift B, Control F5. Boom. There we go. We're going to drop in the A's. Whoops. I don't know if I need to do this, but I'm just kind of covering the screen so that you guys can see kind of everything. I don't really need to do that, but so there you go, right? Here's a very big number. You can see the tab. I don't know how many spaces that is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. Let's figure it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the tab is 1, 2, 3, 4. It actually went 6, But you can see that they're all kept in line here as well. They line up the values, so that's pretty cool. So in our code, with this line here, this is the actual calculation. It's returning 14, and then here's a fraction. We're being explicit. The fraction was the arithmetic calculation was done for us when we ran the compiler, and it turned it into indeed a float value, which happens to be 5/8, which is 0.625. Not 0.0625 because that's a 16th. I need to make a quick coffee, guys and gals. Appreciate you being here. Let's see, what can I do? I'll just change up the vibes here for commercial music. Just coffee break here, latrine break. I do want to continue on. I know it's taking time, guys. I'm just trying to, I don't know if I'm over-explaining. I just want you to understand and give you the theory and the knowledge right from the get-go. It'll get easier as we progress on, okay? Let's see, center music. What's this again? No. Let's see. Center. What do I want to use for center music? I gotta be careful. Some music's copyright. Okay, I just thought of that. Some music is copyright. I don't think I could change it. Yeah. Because right now what I'm using is copyright free and it's awesome. I'm just going to put this into the chat quickly so that you know what I'm listening to. Again, you're going to have to be part of the stream to see it. There we go. Okay. Here's the channel. And that's all you really need. And you'll find it. Johnny Whiskey Tango Coding. I'll be right back. Give me 5 minutes, guys. All right. All right, all right, all right. Thank you for sticking around. Appreciate you. Thank you for coming back or having the patience. Appreciate you. I mean that. Let's go. All right. Let's keep going. Lots to do and need to get in another gear here. So just to be clear, guys, I'm just trying to explain all the little nuances line by line. So once you understand how what's happening with each statement, um, all the little nuances and the syntax and semantics, if you will. Um, Once you have that kind of down, you'll be able to debug and kind of decipher and be able to quickly correct any mistakes that you may have made when you're writing your statements. Okay? Again, a big part of coding in that is kind of like you're not really fully 100% thinking like a computer, but you gotta have kind of an understanding of what's happening under the hood a little bit. So there's a lot of theory, a lot of different things that we have to learn. And again, don't let it scare you. It's not really that big of a deal. It's just, just like anything, you kind of have to learn the theory and everything that's kind of behind it all. All right, let's continue. So I'm going to do this. I'm adding some spaces just so that it's got decent readability for you guys and gals. All right, and a very, very big number, \T, and go like this. Where are we now? Now we're being explicit again, guys and gals. Okay, another data type is called a double. And we're going to go 5,000 times 5,000. Okay, again, I guess we'll talk about the arithmetic operators a little bit. The asterisks you will see a lot in coding, okay, guys? So with coding, you need to know what the symbols are doing, right? What is the symbol doing? What does it mean? What's its purpose? What's its function? You will see the asterisks quite a bit in code. Okay? When you're reading maybe somebody else's code, this is kind of critical to understanding what function or what purpose the symbol is doing. Excuse me. What function or purpose the symbol is doing in that certain particular line statement, okay? In this case, the way we've typed it, we are basically telling the compiler to use it as multiplication, okay? In this sense, right? It's pretty clear what we're doing here. We have a integer value and another integer value, and we're basically using it for the multiplication or the arithmetic process, okay? Just to be clear, you will see the asterisk being used in line code, but it's functioning as a different purpose. And we'll get to that in the future. I'm kind of avoiding talking about it now because at this point, baby steps, step by step, learning all the little things and getting the basic theory down before we get into talking about what the asterisk is doing in the future with variables. Okay? All right, so with that said, and then I'm going to have an end line at the end of that. Sometimes I'll just, instead of typing it, I'll just kind of copy and paste it. And then that's about it. Let's see. Okay, yeah, that's about it. I mean, this is kind of a fun thing. If you want to do it, you can. It's not really necessary what we're doing here, but I'm just trying to think of a name. I don't know. Here we go. there is another way of doing this instead of typing it in inside a set of quotations or as a string literal. So don't forget to replace Bob Barker with your name, and then this is where you put your name. And you could type this if you want, because it actually is a good feeling. That's the reason why I type this, is because now you're actually telling your brain molecules, hey, I'm officially a C++ programmer. Such a good feeling. Oh yeah. Okay, so let's run this. Whoops. There we go. So as you can see, we use double here. So I'm just going to scroll this up. And 5,000 times 5,000 is obviously 25, right? With 6 zeros. And so that gives us 22.5. Now hopefully, you guys understand. I should realize that you are intelligent people that's watching. You have to be. You must be. There's no doubt in my mind that you're intelligent, because I can't see non-intelligent people or people that are resistant to learning, if I want to kind of put it in that way. I can't see people that are resistant to learning resisting the notion to want to learn. I can't see them watching this type of content. I just can't see it. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it at that because I don't want to get on a tangent. So again, in mathematics class, you've probably seen this kind of notation. Really what you're seeing here is 2.5 to the power of 7 times 10 to the 7, right? Exponent. Is this scientific? It's either scientific or engineering notation. It's one of the two. Depends, I think, on the position of the decimal. It's been a minute, but I know you can set up your graphing calculator to return like this as well. So that's what you're seeing here, okay? And then don't forget to replace Bob Barker, there's the space, with your name. Again, there's no enter, so it's printed out in line in your console. I call it inline. Okay. And then of course we have an enter. And so Johnny Tango is the C++ programmer. Now if you were in chat saying hello, I would have used your name. Definitely. Okay. So yeah, do that. Type that code, and man, when you see your name there in the console, you're just gonna have the vibes run up, right up your back. You're gonna be like, ooh, wow, what a great feeling. Let's go. Okay, I'm gonna keep the old coffee going here. Okay, guys and gals. So when we start working with data types, different data types, and strings for that matter, for what we've been doing, for all intents and purposes, we've been I'm just going to let you know, this isn't the normal way that we would write line code. We're just kind of doing some simple basic statements. Now we have an understanding of what is happening here, right? These parentheses or brackets, you'll see these type of brackets. Instead of going there, I'm just gonna go here. Parentheses, right? you'll see them utilized in code. And again, parentheses also have a specific purpose or function in line code. So it depends on how you are using it. In this case here, we're using the parentheses to be explicit to the compiler, telling the compiler, hey, we want you to return a float value. This is basically being explicit, okay? Again, that's coder lingo. That word explicit. Okay? And then again, with data types and such, right? This is a data type. Float is a data type. We've talked about int, right? Short for integers. That's a data type. We've talked about char. That's a data type for characters or a singular character. We've talked about standard string, which we will get into more detail about, because string is kind of a special case itself a little bit. But I didn't want to get into it too much because I don't want to, I also want to make sure I'm giving you the correct information about strings. And yeah, it's not that bad, right? Again, when you see string, just think string is a series of chars, right? Essentially. That's wild. Okay. Oh, did I hit insert? There we go. You gotta be careful. Right? Series of chars or characters, right? That simple. And again, string has its own include or library, right? String has, let me just say, string is powerful, okay? It's got its own methods and functions and everything. Strings are powerful, okay? That's the only difference, okay? Keep it simple in your mind. Oh, a string, you see string, just think a series of characters or a series of text, okay? Just like a statement. Okay. And again, just to add that strings have their own include and their own methods. It's all built in. It's great, guys and gals. We could do so much with strings. All right, and again, variables. Left hand, right. The right hand side equals left hand side concept. And then we're going to talk about variables and what happens with variables. Okay? Why do we use variables? What do variables do? We're going to talk about that. Okay? So this information you see here, so when I'm saying, like, just to try to keep it simple, we don't normally write it like this. There are other ways. Okay? We can store these values into variables. Right, and then use the variables in our statements. Right, so my point is we don't commonly write it like this. We'll take advantage of the variable system. It's great. Okay, same thing here. We would do the same thing. All right, just to kind of iterate that. So some compilers have a bug that requires you to put parentheses around. I don't know why they would call it a bug. Oh, okay. Well, Visual Studio doesn't. So what they're talking about, they're saying sometimes compilers have a bug where you have to put parentheses around your fraction. Now again, I know you guys are beautiful, intelligent people. You also have done well in mathematics class. You obviously understand PEDMAS and BEDMAS, right? So parentheses actually serve a purpose when you're doing mathematics calculations. You can use, just like PEDMAS and BEDMAS, if you grind it out enough algebra, which I love math. I love algebra. Good times. The parentheses are used for separation. They also mean multiplication. Again, parentheses don't mean multiplication when you're line coding. Okay, just to be clear. Parentheses do work in regards to PEDMAS and BEDMAS. They do work. So using parentheses in your statements is good. It's good. Especially if you have like long mathematical calculations you want to do, make sure you use parentheses. Don't be lazy. Again, all parentheses have a brother and a sister, just like curly brackets. Parentheses have a brother and a sister. They always come in pairs. Okay, I just call it brother sister. Why not? Okay, so they're saying some compilers, again, in this course that we're doing, have a bug that requires that you put parentheses around the addition before passing it to the cout, right? But we didn't need to, okay? The addition part, it was actually saying, okay? I put it in the wrong area, so that's what they were talking about, around the addition. So if you have if you're using a different IDE, Visual Studio, just to be clear, if you hear me say IDE, we're talking about this. Okay, that's an IDE. Okay, it's an interface. All right, so I've talked about this quite a bit. We've gone over all the lines. I don't think you really need to read their breakdown in the course, right? Just to speed things up. I think hopefully, you guys should have a good understanding. Okay, so you're good? You're good, right? I don't want to overdo it, right? There's no sense explaining this stuff over again, right? I will repeat it in the future videos just to keep consistent with the coding lingo. But, if I'm doing future videos and you don't understand what I'm talking about, I recommend that you just go back to prior videos. It'd be great to have you. Hopefully you're following the series. We can call it a series. This course. And get up to par, and then I'll see you back here. Great to have you. Okay. So, using standard namespace, I don't know, we're kind of getting into this. Whoops, don't mean to do that. I meant to do it here. I actually don't need to include this. I'm just going to comment it out. Again, remember, every include that you include in your CPP file gets put into your CPP file. So, this makes your file size bigger. You only include stuff if you really need it. Again, these includes have built-in methods or functions that we're going to use in our line code. That's why we include them. Okay? We're not doing strings right now. We don't need to include it. Okay, so here's the statement using, is it namespace standard? Is that what it is? Now you could type this. If you don't want to, you'll see maybe other people do this. Now, some companies might be particular about, I'm adamant. It doesn't bother me to type this. Some people will not use it. If you don't see them using the standard, it's most likely they have this statement at the top. So if I type this here, I don't need to do this standard. You can see that cout is normal. It hasn't changed color. Now if I go like this and comment that out, this should give me an error now. See, it changed color. So that's the IDE saying, hey, Bob, George, you're doing something wrong. So it's not ghosted out, but it's not the same consistent color, right? That's why you have a color theme. Okay? So, if you don't want to write standard and use the scope resolution operator, which is these 2 colons, that's key, because it's kind of like saying, hey, cout belongs to a class, it belongs to the standard class. Essentially, that's what this means. This cout, which is most likely a method, it's part of the O stream, your output stream. You could actually hover over it. It'll give you some information. You could even search online. Again, that's what this is. This is kind of like being explicit. This cout belongs to this namespace. Okay? That's what it means. You'll notice that the use of standard : in front of both cout and endline becomes rather distracting after a while. I'm going into the course outline now. Although using the namespace designation is good form, that's what I do, it is tedious to type. Again, that's why it's kind of nice having this. So I could go like this, and then I could just, whenever I want to, instead of typing it all the time, I'll just copy and paste it. Now let me just undo that. Okay, so I just highlighted it. I don't even need to do all of it. I could just highlight the portion I need. Control C, Control V, there. Right? And then I could go into whatever I'm going to use. Okay, variable. Variable's ghosted because I haven't declared it. That's why. Okay, it's unknown to the compiler. The compiler's like, what is this, Bob? What does variable mean? I don't know what it is, right? You need to be explicit. Okay, so that's what I'll do. And you could also do this too. You could comment it out and then just highlight the portion you need, and boom. Okay, however you want to do it, just little tips and tricks. Okay. All right, so the ANSI standard allows 2 solutions to this minor problem. The first is to tell the compiler at the beginning of the code that you'll be using the standard library cout and endline. So that's the other thing we could do. So typing this is for the standard, so you don't have to type standard. You can also do this. Let me just go like this, and then I'm just going to go using. So basically you're being explicit and you're telling the compiler, again, remember, it goes line by line. It'll get here and it'll go, oh, okay, you're lazy, you don't want to type standard cout. Oh, okay, I get it, I understand. So if I go like this, you still need to type cout, but basically we're saying we're using standard cout, right? So this line is, this one and this one are doing the exact same thing, really. Except the using namespace standard will cover for the end line. So we could do the same thing for end line, right? I could go like this. I could go using standard end line. Okay? So now we're being explicit that we don't want to type standard for end line all the time anymore. Okay? Or we could just get rid of these entirely and just go like this, and then we don't have to type standard for end line anymore either. Okay, do you understand? You follow? So, whoops. Right? So you have a choice. You could either just type, let me comment these out. You could either just type that, or do it like that. Okay? Again, it's your code. I'm not going to tell you how to type your code. I recommend that you figure out what the style that you want to use and stick with it. Be consistent and keep doing the same thing over and over again. Speaking of styles, now I meant to get into that. I found what I was looking for that other day. Okay? Recall when I was typing this, int main? I'm just going to type int main here. So there's different styles. Now I'm typing it in the wrong spot, but I'll just go like this. Let me just go like this. I'm going to highlight all this just so the program doesn't derp. So I'm just highlighting that. I'm hitting Control KC. That actually comments everything out immediately. Okay, so if you've been watching, which is great, I was typing this. We're just starting to type out a brand new fresh program here, right? Int, again, main is our special case function. You always need it. You need it if you want to be able to run a program or return scripts to a console, you need the main. Okay, so there's two styles, okay, with your curly brackets. This is kind of what I wanted to get into. So two styles. There's one style that looks like this, and I'm going to copy this, and then there's another style that looks like this. Now there are two different styles, okay, with the curly brackets. Okay, now it depends, like, for your own intents and purposes, if it's your code, you're at home, you're typing your own code, you're using your own IDE, you could choose your own style. Okay, let me show you here. Again, be consistent and just be consistent with, choose your style. Okay, so here's the names of it. So you can see the curly bracket is here and the curly bracket is here. So that's called the K&R style and variants. Companies such as 1TBS, Strostrup, Linux kernel, BSD, KNF, they use the K&R style. I just couldn't remember this in my head, so I was trying to find it. But this document I have, again, it has 136,000 characters. It's a lot of information for me to scroll through. I have a general idea where it is, but I don't know exactly where it is. At one point, I was actually creating my own table of contents because that's how long it is. It's wild. I could literally write a book. So let me just go like this. Because this is my time and money, and time is money, okay? And if you want to see all this good information, well, show me the money. Actually, remember, sharing is caring. And watching the video, that helps. And subscribing. I don't really actually ask you guys to do that because, you know, I don't push. I'm not pushy, right? If you like the content, that's awesome. Great to have you. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button. So awesome of you. Now I lost where I was at here. And then we'll get back and finish kind of what we're doing. Okay, here we go. There's a little bit more information I thought it was. Okay. You will see this document over time. I will share it with you guys. Those of you that are watching and following along, you'll see this. Okay, so, and then the other style which I use is called the almond style. Okay. I started off with the K&R. I thought maybe it'd be a space saver. I don't know. But just be aware, there's a style, two different styles with your curly brackets. Okay. I prefer the almond style now. Okay. just so you know. All right. Continuing on. Where was I? All right. So we were talking about, oh yeah, I got to undo all this. So I'm going to delete this, right? Because you only want one main. I'm going to redo that and just show you. So to comment something out quickly, you have to highlight the section or portion that you want to highlight. Okay. And then you hit Control KU. Okay, that undoes. To comment out, Control KC. Control KU, Control KC. Control KU, Control KC. Control KU. Pretty easy, huh? It's slick. Right? I could do the same thing with just this. Control KC. Boom. Now again, it does single line comments to be clear. Okay. And I'm not using any of this stuff, and I just want to get rid of it. Okay? Not necessary. All right. So I'm going to bring our main back up here to the top. And I got to fix this up too. Actually, I'm just going to type it. There we go. All right. And we should be good. Okay, boom. Nice. All right. So that's about the standard namespace. Yeah. So if you decide to use the standard and all that, it'll give you the same exact identical output. Right? Again, you have to tell the compiler that you're using it. Okay? You have to be explicit. All right? The compiler is great, but it can't read your mind. All right? Okay. Except you have to read the compiler's mind and try to understand what the compiler's doing. That's great. Thinking like a computer. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. So it'll return the exact identical thing. Additionally, statements inform the compiler that two objects from the standard library will be used. This is done with the keyword using, okay? Just like I showed you. After this has been done, you no longer need to qualify the cout and endline objects. Okay, qualify. That's a good word. I don't use much. The second way to avoid the inconvenience of writing std : in front of cout and L is to simply tell the compiler that your listing will be using the entire standard namespace. And that's what I showed you here, right? Using namespace standard, right? And that actually covers more. It'll cover it for string. If you recall, I had to type standard for string. Right? Whoops, not sting. But using this namespace, standard would cover it for this as well. So be aware of that. Some it depends on what you're doing. Like vectors. When we get into vectors, you actually have to type std vector. A lot of people, let's say they don't have, we haven't got there yet. We haven't talked about vectors. But if I just type vector, of course I'm not using vector. Let me just, for example here, I'm going to include okay, vector is another thing. Just, you don't have to worry about it right now, but just be aware. I have to include it if I want to type vector. Otherwise, it'd just be ghosted. So if I type vector, it still doesn't know what it is. And a lot of people, this is a key tip here for you guys and gals. Early on, when we get into vectors, you'll be able to debug and decipher problems quicker than your adversaries, if you will. Right? And you'd be like looking and going, well, I included vector. Why is vector not working? What's up? And then a lot of people they'll probably waste an 8-hour day absorbing their boss's finances. They shouldn't have been hired because they're probably, fake coders or copy and paste coders. But if they can't figure that out within 2 minutes or even a half an hour, if they spent an 8-hour day struggling why they can't use vector, they need to find a new career. Okay? Why can't I use vector? Let's type that again. Still kind of doing it. Oh, right. Have to probably, because we're not doing vectors right now. I have to create a vector, guys. Okay, that's why. Okay. Anyways, just be aware of that, right? I'm getting ahead of myself. We're not even doing vectors yet. I have to declare one first. Okay. Kind of being a dirt burger myself. Again, it didn't take 8 hours to figure it out. But with that said, right, there's declaring initializing. Declare, initialize. You'll hear that a lot, okay? Be aware of these things. You'll understand what I mean when we get into variables. Okay? So, vector uses the standard namespace. Okay? So that was just like a little tip for you. Okay. Let's continue on. Okay, I'm kind of just reading the course outline without getting into too much detail. Let's see it. The second way to avoid the inconvenience of writing right, I've already showed you that, is to write using standard or using namespace std, which is the other way. Any object not otherwise designated can be assumed to be from the standard namespace. Okay, let's continue on. Let's try to push through a little bit further here. Again, the output is identical to the early versions of this program. I kind of explained a lot of this stuff ahead of time before I even read any of this, so it's kind of, I guess, a little bit of repetition for you guys. The advantage to writing using namespace standard is that you do not have to specifically designate the objects you're actually using. For example, cout and endline or endl. The disadvantage is that you run the risk of inadvertently using objects from the wrong library, right? That's what I was kind of talking about with the confusion. You can have conflictions, right? Some include libraries may have a method that's exactly the same name. So that's why you have these class namespaces. It's being specific. You're telling the compiler, I want to use the cout from this namespace. It's being explicit, okay? Everything's organized. It's kind of like a filing system, right? I could put a piece of paper with cout on it in one filing cabinet, and I could put a piece of paper in a different filing cabinet. They both do two different things, but they have the same name, right? That kind of makes sense. So I'm telling the compiler, hey, use this filing, use use filing cabinet A. Don't use filing cabinet B, right? Essentially. All right, that's all part of the ANSI standard, right? Okay, let's see. Purist? Purist, I love it. Purist. I guess I'm kind of a purist, but not really. But there are purists out there. Prefer to write STD : I guess I am a purist because I like to write that. In the beginning I didn't, but now I do. So in front of each instance of CL or N-line. The lazy prefer to write using namespace standard and be done with it. And yeah, I read it verbatim, okay? I didn't say that, but I actually agree with them. Okay, so in this course, most often the individual items being used are declared. Okay, again, you'll hear that. That's more coding lingo, guys. Declare, initialize, okay? You got to know these words. You got to understand the coding lingo. That's why we're going over the theory. Most often, the individual items being used are declared, but from time to time, each of the other styles are presented just for fun. Okay, anyways. All right, that was just kind of a little extra information. Commenting your programs. We've talked about commenting. When you're writing a program, your intent is always clear and self-evident to you. Funny thing, though, a month later, when you return to the program, it can be quite confusing and unclear. And that's kind of true, right? I mean, we're just human. It's not like, we kind of forget things. If you're not consistent, and if you don't consistently keep doing something over time, you eventually forget about it, right? It's somewhere in the memory banks, but trying to access that memory bank, it's kind of like doing a D&D game where you're lost in the dungeon or in the castle and you can't find your way out. It's kind of like that. Trying to find that vault and opening that vault, right? Can't remember where it is. It's probably why we need a map. Can we have a map in our brain? It's funny. Okay. No one is ever certain how the confusion creeps into a program, but it nearly always does. Again, guys, if you're consistent with your line coding or you're creating your line statements, you'll be able to read it, and you'll kind of read it, and you go, okay, I was doing this, okay, I was doing that. I'll back up my scripts onto Notepad, and I'll reflect on them. Again, I have a organized filing system in my File Explorer as well. So I try to keep organized there as well. Reflect on notes and information. Sometimes, like vectors, for example. I haven't done a vector in a minute. It's probably been a month or so. I know that there's internal methods. I know I have to include the vector namespace or library. I know I need to. I know how vectors kind of work under the hood. But trying to remember the methods and such that kind of goes with it, right? You kind of have to refresh your memory. So going back to my Notepad notes kind of helps. Again, it'll be just like riding a bicycle. If you haven't ridden a bicycle in 20 years, I'll guarantee you jump on that bicycle, and before long, after a few crashes and crumbles and fumbles, sure, we'll roll with it. Before you know it, you'll be rolling down the road, screaming, going, yay, with your arms in the air, okay? Doesn't take much time. I'm going to finish up here, guys and gals, okay? So, let's see. Okay, to fight the onset of bafflement and to help others understand your code, you need to use comments, right? Again, you can add comments. Be very subtle with your comments, okay? Don't write paragraphs or novels. Nobody's going to like that, Okay, you have to be clear and concise with your comments. Again, if it's your own program, guys, and you're just doing this for funsies at home, or you're wanting to learn and become an indie dev or work for a company, right? Get into the habit of, you have to be kind of subtle with your comments. All right. Again, if it's your own program, you could do whatever you want, and nobody could tell you nay. It's none of their beeswax. Okay, so you need to use comments. Comments are text that is ignored by the compiler, but that can inform the reader of what you're doing at any particular point in your program. So you could kind of do your own personal notes, right? Just give you an idea of what you're doing, maybe what you're thinking. Again, you could have to do, right? To do. And then you could go, I don't know, finish method to calculate average versus, I don't know, income or something to that effect, right? Just a little note to yourself, just as a reminder. Okay, life is busy and there's lots of information that we take in, right? It's easy to be forgetful. Okay, C++ comments come in two flavors, single line and comments and multi-line comments. Okay, I think we're kind of at that time, right? We are at that time. So I'm trying to keep the videos around a couple hours. I hope you guys don't mind. Again, things will go a little bit faster and quicker. I'm trying to stay on track. I'm trying to keep the train, the locomotive going. I'm trying to, stay on topic as well, because I think that's important. Teach the subject and nothing else. Sometimes I may go off a little story tangent, but I'm not pushing my viewpoints, I don't think. But anyways, staying on topic. Hopefully you're learning, because that's kind of the goal. Hopefully helping. I'm just going to leave it at that. Appreciate you. You're awesome sauceum. We'll continue kind of from comments next video. It's great to have you. Thank you for watching. Whoever you are, wherever you are, have a great rest of your day, evening, night. Supporters, followers, lurkers, and twerkers. You guys know. Much love. All right, Johnny Whiskey Tango Coding saying peace out for now, guys. Peace!